Cutie Pie and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do a review on 4 different 10 pan palettes, and they are, as you can see by the title, the Wet n Wild 10 pan palettes. Now, I am coming from a place where I a long time ago used to have the old Comfort Zone, but that was all I've ever had, and I can remember somewhat of what it was like, but this isn't just an honest review of what these palettes are like now. I'm not talking about what they were like then, I'm talking about right now, what I thought of all 4 of these palettes. If you watch my Shop My Stash, you know that these palettes have been in my Shop My Stash for like 4 or 5 weeks now. I have used pretty much every single shade, I think. I don't think there is a shade in any of these palettes really that I haven't dipped into for one look or the other. So I wanted to, 1, rate them for you guys. 2, I'm going to show you swatches of all 4 of the palettes, and then I'm just going to give you a general idea of all of them, how much they are, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so if you guys are interested in seeing swatches and what I think of these 4 Wet n Wild palettes, then stay tuned and do not forget to subscribe. A lot of you people's watching my videos and you ain't subscribing. I'm like, what's going on? Remember to subscribe. It's important to me, and I'm sure that there will be lots of videos later on in my time here on YouTube that you will enjoy. Alright guys, let's get into this video. Let's get into this. Alright guys, so first of all, quick thing, obviously these palettes can be found anywhere where Wet n Wild is sold. If you're in the US, it's going to be somewhere like CVS or, you know, somewhere like that. If you're in Canada, like I am, it's going to be your Rexall, Shoppers Drug Mart, if it has Wet n Wild. And, you know, just check your drugstores. That's going to be the best place. And, you know, I know Walmart sometimes carries Wet n Wild. My Walmart doesn't, but I know some Walmarts do carry Wet n Wild. So definitely check there. At first, when I went to my Rexall, which is where I purchased all these, I did not think they were even going to have them, even though they were setting up a brand new Wet n Wild display. Be sold anywhere where Wet n Wild is sold, I'm sure, because these are a hot item right now and they're trying to feed out the old and bring in the new. You guys will have them in your stores somewhere. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the rating system. So the way I rated these is obviously best to least. My very favorite one is the one I am wearing today. This is the one in Not a Basic Peach. I think that in this palette, not only do you have everything you need to do a look, but these are beautiful pigmented shadows. They're beautiful. This is your perfect all over lid shade if you are of the like medium to light skin tone. If you're not, there's also 2 other you know, transition-y medium shades. They have this one, which is super, super dark. So for me, it's the perfect, like, you know, buffing it into the outer edge of your eye. Then they have some shimmery shades. This one, I love when they put this type of shadow in palettes. It is like that orangey gold peachy color. This orange here is really, really pigmented, and I just want to show you the swatches of it right here. Are the swatches of this palette. This is my favorite palette by far. I think they did an amazing job. If I had to pick a least favorite shadow, it would probably be one of these. There is a very, very peachy one, which they should have just made a matte. It has like a little bit of shimmer in it. Oh, it's pretty matte. It's one of those shades where you think it might be a matte, but then it has a tiny bit of shimmer in it. And then this one here, which is a purple almost. It's a very dusty purple, but it's just it's not very pigmented. It's kind of a little bit of dusty mess. So, you know, there's duds in all of these palettes, I will say, just to let you know. They're Wet n Wild shadows. They're like $7 Canadian, so you're getting an amazing bargain. Even if you bought all 4 of these, you still would not be getting up to like a Too Faced palette. They would be $40 tops. This is a great deal, guys, honestly. So anyway, that is my favorite one. That is the Not a Basic Peach. That's the one I am using today, and that, oh no, you know what, I was going to say that's the one I did in the demo, but actually I did the Comfort Zone palette in the demo. Also, I have a video up here of my full face of Wet n Wild where I used the next one, which is my second favorite, and this is the one in Rose in the Air. This is the one I've had the least experience with because this is the one I've been searching for. 2 weeks ago, I was searching for this because they did not have it in stock. They had all 3 of the other ones in stock except for this one. Then finally, I went there totally on a whim, and here it is. This one is the matte palette. It has mostly mattes in it. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It has 8 mattes in it. There's only 2 shimmers. This is the one people say is like the Modern Renaissance. I can see that, but they're also like their 2 shimmer shades aren't really like the ones in the Wet n Wild, or in the, what am I trying to say here? These are not the same like tones of shimmer in the Modern Renaissance, so they're not quite the same, but this palette is really beautiful. It is buildable. The mattes are buttery. I love it for like, you know, medium to light skin tones. It would be perfect. There's even some darker tones in here. This chocolate brown is really nice and dark, and the only really light colors in here are this pinky, you know, mauve-y shade, and then they have like a brow bone highlight, and then this one here is a very pretty, it's a very pretty shimmer, but you know, they're all needing to be built up. That is the consistency in these palettes, is that they give you enough space so you can build up the color. And that's what I like about palettes. There's a lot of palettes that I love. Kat Von D's shadows are pigmented, like pigmented right off the bat, so sometimes you have to be more careful with it. Same as a couple other brands. Tarte, the Tarte Clay Play palette, very pigmented right off the bat. So, you know, it's nice actually to be able to play around with these shadows. I think beginners would adore these palettes, and they're cheap, so you know, win-win situation there. But yes, let's go for the swatches in the Rose. Really beautiful. They're buildable. I love the oranges in all of these palettes. Honestly, I think Wet n Wild did an amazing job with all the orange shadows. All right, so my third favorite, and I have a couple of reasons why, is this Nude Awakening palette. This is their mauve-y, purpley toned palette. And my lighting is terrible. You can barely see how pretty this is, but it is very, very pretty. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mattes in it, which is quite a bit. And the only reason I did not enjoy this palette as much is because I found that some of these were just hard to blend. I found that this one here, this like purpley tone, which was one of my favorites color-wise in the palette, was just a little bit hard to blend, as well as the black. While it is super pigmented and seems pretty soft to the touch, it just didn't blend as well for me, and I found there was a little more to be desired with a lot of these shimmers. They just weren't super pigmented. Like, they just weren't super pigmented. But anyway, this is the swatches for the Nude. I do think this is a nice palette, but I did find that this was one of the hardest palettes to blend, just in my opinion, if we're talking all together. It's a nice palette, but I think that they just, because the darker tones in this palette and the more rusty kind of, not rusty, but gray tones in this palette didn't work as well for me as something like the orangey tones in the Not a Basic Peach palette. the very last one is this Wet n Wild Comfort Zone. Now I think this is the most, you know, noticeable, and the reason why this is my last love is because it's all shimmers, and some of these just don't work that great, to be perfectly honest. The two transition shades are beautiful, absolutely stunning, and then you get into these greens. And I did my look based on this palette for this review just to show you, you know, how these shadows perform. And I think the mattes perform exactly the same as the ones in the other palettes, but these shimmers just aren't that wonderful. I'm going to show you the swatches of it right here. Favorite color is the color that everybody loves in the Comfort Zone palette, and it's that like brown blue shade. I think that that one's beautiful. I just think that some of these, they, you know, they're a little powdery, they're a little lackluster, you know, they're nice, but they need building, they need a lot of Fix Plus, and sometimes you can get aggravated as heck with some of these shadows. But I think all in all, it's a good palette. It is nice. It's just, I think a lot of these shimmers are for people that don't, you know, that aren't looking for that pow in the face shimmer. The, you know, one that is soft on the eyes. It's nice. It's nice, but it's not my favorite. By any means, it is not my favorite. So yeah, guys, those were all 4 of the palettes. I know this was a somewhat, you know, shorter video, but we are going to go into the look I did with the Comfort Zone palette. So let's go into that, and you guys can see what these performed like. I think they still performed really good, but not quite as good as this palette. I might actually do a look with this palette at some point on my Instagram. Always, always go to my Instagram. If you guys want any more like information or more close-up swatches, anything like that is always on my Instagram, and I do Instagram stories a lot now, so definitely check in the description for my Instagram so you guys can, you know, get a look over there. Alright guys? little bit intense. I don't know if it was the best footage ever, but I think you can still see how they're applying to the eyes. If you guys want any other, like I can do a tutorial with each one of these palettes, if you guys are really interested in them, make sure you comment down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you guys so, so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. I've been so happy doing YouTube videos, and I hope you guys, you know, enjoy watching them. Make sure you give this a like, and if you guys are, like, true subscribers and you really want to see all of my videos when they come out, make sure you click that bell. Everybody's going nuts about it. I'm sure you've heard. You know, the bell is something that you can guarantee you're going to get all of my videos in your subscription box. Alright, guys, I'm going to let you go now. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, night, evening, whatever, and bye-bye.